I see what ho, chaps and chappets, Game Chap and Bertie here.
Yes.
Yes, what and I dare say now, here is our look back at the year 2014 just passed in Minecraft. We are taking a look at exactly what went on and what happened in everyone's favourite blockbuster game, you know.
We most certainly are, and we thought you'd like this. A look back, as you say, at what has happened all throughout the 2014 year. Now we're at the end. In Minecraft.
That's right, of course. We have seen a very big year in many ways for Minecraft and a not so big year in other ways. Of course, I think the first thing we have to take a look at here is exactly what the Mojang team have been doing in terms of updates to the game.
Yes, indeed. I think you just said that quite well. Yes, indeed. Big in some areas and very small in others. But, yes, so what happened to your game in 2014? Well, cast your mind back there to February 2014.
February, right.
Yes, if you can remember even what was going on then.
It was the Dark Ages, old chap.
I think it was also something going on. Yes, they were driving horse and carts in, I think.
They were.
But anyway, 175 was released.
Right.
And 175, well, we didn't have any new mobs or anything like that. It was just all mainly about the Realms update.
That's right.
And mini games in Realms and things.
Indeed, the Mojang chaps spent a lot of the first half of the year actually working on Realms. They did many updates during the course of that time whereby they introduced new features and made it a lot easier to play Minecraft Realms. For example, in February, the 175 update brought in a feature whereby you could use minigame maps on your Minecraft realm.
It did, so that's what they focused on in February, and everyone just carried on playing and said, interesting. But then along came April.
That's right, and with it, April brought 176.
It did, 176. Now, of course, while we were all eating our Easter eggs or whatever, I think that was the time anyway, April, but not sure. But anyway, they brought in 176. Now, here, they fixed skins and skin outage problems. A lot of bugs were fixed throughout all the versions, and they added name change support and more Realms configuration options, etc.
Right, so in 176, the April update, as you'll say, they introduced a system whereby you could change your names, but it wasn't actually working yet. It was just a framework for the name change system, and actually the actual name changing itself was to come a lot later. And of course, they also fixed a number of issues pertaining to skins and skins not showing and constant problems, etc. and so forth. And I think it's actually been a lot more stable in terms of skins since then.
Well, yes, I think so. So they were sort of getting everyone sort of hyped up about being able to change their names and saying we've put some things underneath there foundationary-wise that couldn't cause them to do it.
That's right.
But they didn't actually do it. And then, as April, we thought, well, that's it. No, 1.7.7 also came out.
Yes.
Which was, they just fixed a load of crashes.
That's right, and we saw, of course, a huge long string of updates for 1.7 here that rather calls one's mind back to the old days of 1.6.2, 6.3, 6.4, 6.5, and 6.6, and of course this time we actually had 1.7.7 in that same month, which was a crash fix update, and of course, straight directly after that we had 1.7.8, which was another crash fix update, you know.
Yes, indeed, you'd hardly got through that one half of your Easter egg, if that was Easter. I think it might have been March, but never mind, we'll pretend it is. And in came 1.7.8, where they fixed more crash fixes and skin fixes. It's just all bugs, so everyone was saying, well, yeah, that's good, but where's all the mobs and things? But never mind.
Yes, that's right. Now, of course, in 1.7.9, though, also in April, actually, they said, right, we've had about enough of bug fixing and skin fixing, and what they actually did in 1.7.9 is add support for the new skin system.
They most certainly did. That came in 1.7.9 there, clearing up the Easter egg junk by now, and that they weren't over. They brought in 1.7.9, as you say, skin support system, added new things to support it, basically, for your skins.
Well, that's right, of course, which means you can have such things as outer armour layers and rather fancy adjustments and additions to your skin, etc., and so forth. And of course, later on, we'd see the 2-pixel wide arms.
Most certainly.
Or 3-pixel wide, actually.
3, 4, yes, well, that's right, the fatter arms, you see.
Thinner arms.
Thinner, yes.
Yes.
So that's what they brought in then, or producing foundation for that.
They laid the groundwork.
Laying the groundwork.
That's right.
And then, of course, we came to June, so we're nearly halfway through the year already, and we've hardly seen anything. Well, we've seen things done, but it's not really things that you can see like the Ender Dragon, etc.
It was maintenance, mainly.
It was that sort of thing they did.
Yes.
So 1.7.10 came along, and here there was a big, once again, the server Realms update with new player activity monitor, and apparently you could then upload your own worlds and change various server settings like game mode and PvP, etc.
That's right, so you can keep tabs on what your players are doing inside your Minecraft realm and make sure they're not getting up to no good, etc. And also, you could upload your world saves, which is rather handy to share with your friends, rather fun idea there. Yes. And also fiddle about with the server settings, for example, like game mode, survival and creative, turn off or on PvP, etc. and so forth.
Yes, so they added that in June. But then we had a little delay, and in comes September.
September, we fast forward now towards the third quarter.
We have fast forwarded to the third code, as you say, and this one was the biggie. The biggie has arrived. And this was the bountiful update, they called it.
The bountiful update.
Yes, or as we would say, big fat update.
The big fat update.
The big fat update.
1.8, fellows. Indeed, a very major update to the game. And this, of course, 1.8 was the longest developed update in Minecraft history. It spent around about a year in development. It took them so long to put this together. And I dare say it was quite worth the wait, old chap.
Well, they put in this one loads and loads of things. I think we've got some things playing on the screen at the moment, don't know.
Yes.
But loads of things in it. Now, what did they add? See, some of you out there might have just picked the game up, just started, or thought, well, yes, we had a load of things up. I don't really know what it was. Well, now you've got time to find out, you see. So you can grab your popcorn, or, of course, your cucumber and cheese sandwiches, whatever you've got, or your roast chestnuts.
Yes,
listen,
yes.
You see, they added some blocks. They added granite, andesite, and diorite. These are different sort of stone blocks with smooth versions too.
That's right, different types of rocks to find in the world.
They did. They added a slime block.
Yes, a bouncy slime block.
Boing! They added an iron trapdoor.
Right. They, of course, added some also rather more consequential things as well as those minor blocks, like the Ocean Monument with the Elder Guardians and the Guardians inside there, which suck your health away with a nasty draining beam attack. Very nasty. And, of course, the Ocean Monument itself featured blocks like Prismarine and Sea Lanterns, which were introduced by Mr. Jeb, of course.
Mr. Jeb, yes, always doing the job well as he always does, Mr. Jeb, with his little things he added there, with the Sea Lanterns and the monuments, of course, under the ground.
Under the ocean.
Under the ocean, I beg your pardon. And all that red sandstone was also brought in.
Yes, that's right. They also dropped in, of course, another new mob, which was the Endermite. Now,
Endermite.
It was a little bit like a blob, I suppose, old chap. It's a small thing, you know.
It was a blob with a button on it.
Yes, a blob with a button. And that was, of course, randomly dropped from Endermen. So a rather interesting sort of atmospheric mob there. Yes. And, of course, the other mob they added was, of course, rabbits, you know.
Rabbits! Little bouncy rabbits were added in. Now, people haven't really said a lot about rabbits. They just get on with them.
Yes.
I don't know whether they fit in or whether we really want rabbits or whether we just liked sheep and pigs. But
I like rabbits. I think they're good, actually.
Well, they added the rabbits.
I like those. They're quite atmospheric, very nice touch. And, of course, they drop things like mutton and cooked mutton. They can eat your carrots, etc. and so forth. And they're quite fun to have.
Yes, and you can eat them.
And you can tame them as well.
Yes, apparently. You see, now also they added as well, not related to rabbit, or it could be, an armour stand.
Yes, they dropped in an armour stand. That's
they dropped that in. Now, firstly, the armour stand was made of 2 sticks, I think. It looked a bit like a coat hanger. But then they changed it to look a little bit better.
That's right. They did give it a small graphical update. The one
it
thing it does lack at the moment, apparently by design, was it doesn't actually have a GUI. In other words, you just right-click it and it pops on the screen. Now, really, I think it should have a GUI, old chap, personally.
Yes, we do.
Many things in Minecraft have a GUI, like the furnace, so it makes sense for the armour stand to have one too. But perhaps the coder was strapped for time.
Well, it could be. Yes. We don't know.
He was in a rush, perhaps.
He might have been. Now, also, those little villagers there, who perhaps one day will get a facelift or something, they would also now be able to harvest crops and plant new ones.
Yes.
Little chaps.
Mr. Jeb introduced more villager AI, which was, of course, something they planned for quite a long time, whereby they can do your farming work for you. That was a good idea.
It was a good idea, we think, yes. And, of course, if you like doing lots of building and crafting, and that's your thing, then, of course, mossy cobblestone and mossy stone bricks were now, or then, craftable. You could craft them.
Indeed, of course. Now, these were only previously available from strongholds and quite rare as such. Now, this new edition of the crafting recipe will, of course, have reduced their overall value, especially on servers, but nonetheless, it makes them more accessible to the average player.
Most certainly.
Now, also, if I just say this, they added in various new game modes to play the game in. For example, they added a debug mode world type, which was hidden to most players. You could see all the different textures on the screen. That's rather good and handy, I suppose, for texture pack makers.
Yes.
They also added in a customer world type, which is rather fun and lets you configure precisely how you want Minecraft to generate your world.
Ah, yes, that was a rather good thing they added there. So you could fiddle around with the thing, how your world looks.
Yes.
And they also added lots of other.
You could fill it with lava, you could fill it with diamond ore, you could make it full of coal or whatever, I say.
Yes, and they added other commands as well, such as, to go with that, such as the fill command and particle command and test for blocks command and all sorts.
Many commands, indeed, which complement these features. Now, also, they replaced and restored the ability of Sponge to suck up water.
Yes, the poor old sponge. Everyone loved the sponge.
We forgot the sponge, didn't
yes,
we?
And the sponge went, but they said, no, we'll bring the sponge back. The sponge, back. And so now the sponge returns with his ability to suck up water, and everyone was very happy, I think.
We were all very happy, although when you break the sponge, of course, the water quickly flows back, so you have to know what you're doing with that sponge.
Yes, indeed, most certainly.
So that was the sponge, and they also added a brand new game mode that turned you into a spectator of some sort, it seems.
Well, yes. A spectator sort of game mode was also added.
That allows you to fly around the world, see what your friends are doing, and also take the viewpoint of a given mob or player just by clicking them.
It most certainly did, yes. It's rather fun, I suppose. Now, also, they added the ability for containers that could be locked in custom maps by using the lock data tag, another sort of command thing.
Really? I see. So therefore, basically, chests could be locked from the players of the map by the map author. Rather clever.
Most certainly.
Yes, indeed, I say. So, also, Fredels, they added a rather intriguing feature called a world barrier. Do you recall that one, old chap?
Oh, the world barrier, yes.
Yes.
It was some sort of, it was like pink lines sort of thing, isn't it?
Pink and blue lines,
Yes.
depending on where you were, and actually, you can't go beyond that barrier, and things beyond it might die.
Most certainly. So that was a sort of funny thing they added in, a bit like it's sort of the end of the Farland sort of thing.
Well, yes, it restricts your shall we say, roaming of the world to a given area, which is quite an interesting twist, I think. It's a rather marvellous idea. Now, also, we had new types of doors and fences in various variants of wood.
Oh, we did, yes. The little doors, once again, for those who like building things, which probably most people since it's Minecraft.
Yes.
You could have different variations of doors and fun things like that.
And they were 3D at first, but they were later replaced by a more 2D shape, although they still look quite good, I must say.
Oh, as we think so, yes. And of course, as we said earlier, the preparations they made for the skins, well, the player skins can now have double layers across the whole body, actually. Or the whole model, as it were.
That's right, indeed. In other words, you could have an outer suit and an inner suit. For example, I don't know, you could make a Zero Suit Samus skin with the outer armour as the outer skin, as it were, skin layer. And also, you could make your player's arms thinner, now 3 pixel wide instead of 4 pixel if you're a girl.
Most certainly, and don't forget, of course, that very controversial one as well.
Yes.
And that is a new player skin called Alex, but Alex the Feminine.
Alex the lady, that's
Yes.
right. Now, of course, the thing with Alex, I'll drop a little tidbit of sorts here. Apparently, someone used some kind of unerasing tool on the Alex skin once, and they dug up a rather interesting bit of trivia. Originally, Alex was going to have glasses, apparently.
Really?
Yes.
What, both full?
What? Don't be silly.
Oh.
No, black glasses.
Oh,
sort
yes.
of nerdy type glasses.
Oh, I
you know.
see. Yes.
And
of
she
course.
was going to have those, but they took them off eventually. But apparently, she didn't deserve those, or didn't need them, or something. Maybe she's not short-sighted after all.
Maybe she wasn't cool enough.
I don't
to have
know.
those glasses,
I'm
but
not
still.
sure. You do, but there are videos. Alex is, of course, a new skin, a default skin, finally to stand alongside Steve.
Most certainly, and of course, additional options there for configuring what pieces of the skin are visible, etc., was also put in.
Yes, you can turn your arms and or skins, or rather leg, etc. and so forth, layers on or off as you see fit. A rather interesting idea. Then there were balance changes across the entire game, for example, the trading, anvil usage, etc. and so forth, thus making them a bit more fair.
Most certainly, yes. Anvils and villages there, balance and things done there. I don't think they did anything with, I'm not sure with things like the enchanting table, but they certainly added that to it. Or
They
changed
did,
that.
of course, because they added the ability whereby you have to have lapis lazuli in your enchanting
that's-
table, don't
yes,
you?
Yes, they did. Yes, indeed. Yes. they
So
did
that's a
that
good point as well. And all these features, fails, of course, made up one of the largest Minecraft updates we've yet seen. There were new mobs, new mechanisms, the villagers had their own clever AI, etc. and so forth for farming. It was a rather large update, which I dare say was a long time coming, and it really boosted the game, I think.
Well, yes, of course. And other little thing there, they enabled you to put buttons on the ceiling.
Well, yes, and
Which is
there's
not
many
fun.
more sundry and small changes. And also, of course, they removed Herobrine, old chap.
You mustn't forget the fact that you removed Herobrine. Yes, of course. That's
I
very
think they
important.
did anyway.
Thank goodness
I
they
hope
did.
they did. But anyway, now of course that was in the month of, let's see now,
September.
But also something else very big happened this year in September, Fedeos.
Yes, after they'd done all that and got that out the way,
Mr. Notch had been at play.
Mr. Not he most certainly had. And he'd be having, well, it came out that they'd been having a little chat with Microsoft.
Yes.
And they were saying, this is fun, we've finished with it now, we're about to sell it all off.
Indeed. So they were making a lot of rumbling sounds along the lines of we're going to be selling Minecraft in September, although there was nothing final, but the figure floated at that time was $2 billion United States dollars.
Yes, big money.
Big money.
Big money, yes.
So, that was September. Then we had a bit of a quiet month of October, but in November came the news of Minecraft 1.8.1, which introduced some bug fixes, old chap.
Yes, so, and we say it that way, bug fix, that was it.
That was it.
Bug fixes. No,
there were some new game rules as well.
There was some new game rules, so they brought a little one in there, but of course at that time there was also an awful lot of hype and sort of excitement and wonderment and bewilderment and sort of thing about the acquisition.
That's right. And indeed, we didn't have to wait long in November before the news emerged on the 6th, I believe, old chap, that the acquisition had been completed. And for how much?
Well, most certainly. It had been completed and you heard a sound like this. That was the door shutting behind Mr. Notch as he left.
I see.
Yes, yes.
And of course,
notes dropping out sort of behind him like a tail as he went.
yes, that's right. In fact, the final sum paid was a staggering $2.5 billion United States dollars. Goodness me.
That's what they paid for it. Yes, $2.5 billion US dollars in British pounds. I don't know what that is, but it must be something like
nearly £2 billion, I'm
yes,
sure.
Yes, $1.8
a
billion,
lot
I
of money,
suppose,
fellows.
like
That's right. So.
It was a lot of money, and that was that.
And thus came the end to the saga of Mr. Notch's Minecraft adventures, sealed there with $2.5 billion to send him on his way as a golden handshake, you know.
Well, I think the adventures are still going on, perhaps, but just not with Minecraft.
Not with Notch, that's right.
Yes.
I think now, of course, the Microsoft Game Studios have taken over the reins of Minecraft, and as we head into 2015, no doubt one of the things that many fans are going to be waiting with bated breath for is, of course, what Microsoft are going to be doing with our block building game.
Most certainly, that is the question. That's what I mean. We've just taken you through there, through 2014.
That was the year, fellows.
Yes, but are we going to see anything else like that big update that came out in September 14 that we've just described again? Because at the moment, they're apparently working on the front end, getting the launcher to display correctly.
As we speak, yes.
As we speak, probably preparing it for the way Microsoft wanted to launch on your computer.
Oh yes, I should think so, by making changes to bring it in line with Redmond's view on the matter. And of course, they'll have to do what they're told now because they're owned by Microsoft, you see, so it could go anywhere, fellows, but we do know Microsoft have said things like they want to keep the community happy, etc. and so forth, so we can only hope for the best, I think.
Well, yes, they have, yes, so I think all the Minecrafters out there may well be munching their Christmas turkey or whatever it is you may eat at Christmas time, thinking, well, come 2015, will we ever see an update like that one again?
Yes, indeed, and of course we have to be careful that a lot of the younger players of Minecraft perhaps don't get carried away with their new toys over Christmas and forget about the game in the new year.
Well, this is the thing, yes, most certainly.
So they'll have to bring some rather punchy news out first thing in 2015, I think, in order to counteract any possible Christmas drop-off.
They most certainly are, yes, because as we said previously, these updates are very key to keeping Minecraft going.
Yes.
And of course, people can go to other things like mods or perhaps mod packs and things like that now to entertain them.
Yes.
But, we're missing the updates, so hopefully there'll be more soon. And
We
just
hope
talking
so.
about those mod packs, don't forget to pop over and have a look at our Chaps Play channel. The Chaps Play is up on the screen there. We'll be going through some really tough Feed the Beast ones, aren't we?
We are some jolly exciting mod packs.
Mod packs, yes.
Mod packs, fellows, which are crash landing and clouds of darkness, hardcore survival. You can't die and you have to stay alive with food and water. Oh my word,
Yes.
it's too stressful now, chap.
It most certainly is.
Anyway, fellows, go along and see how we're getting on, I say.
Yes, go over there, subscribe, show us some love, and we'll show you some back, or we'll try to as we do all things.
Indeed, we'll try not to die, I say.
Yes.
But there are, fellows. This has been Game Chap and Bertie with the year in review. Thank you guys for joining us, I say. I look forward to seeing you once more the next exciting outing, my word. By George. Until then.